Something that is even more advanced than working with the cloners, but is also very closely related to working with the cloners, is the auto painting functionality of Coreal Painter 12. Now, in order to see this, we're going to go back up to File, Open, and we're going to choose the tigerref.riff, and we're just going to open this. Use the default profile is just fine. Now, the main idea of this is that we are going to take this image and we're going to process it in a way that's going to give us either a finished painting if that's what you're wanting to achieve, or the foundation that you can use to paint on top of that's a little bit more painterly than this photo. Now, the main idea here is that we're going to be using a brush category here in our default brush library. If we come down, it's known as the Smart Strokes category. And these are an awful lot like the cloner brushes, but maybe a little bit more artistic in their nature. But what's really important about these is that they have recorded a certain type of stroke that's going to take best advantage of the medium. Now, you can see right here that I've got sponge soft, but I'm going to go ahead and choose acrylics captured bristle to begin with. And then I'm going to come over here to Window. We're going to choose Auto Painting Panels, and we're going to choose Underpainting to begin. Now, the idea with the underpainting is that this is going to allow us to have a certain amount of processing power live on the image and use this to make it a little bit more painterly right from the word go. So we can choose a color scheme, and we can choose, like, say, an impressionist color scheme, or a classical color scheme, or modern color scheme, watercolor color scheme, sketchbook color scheme, chalk drawing color scheme. So you can see that we could choose any of those. However, what I'm going to do is set that to none. Instead, I'm going to use the photo enhance. Now you can see here that we can choose lighten, darken, lower contrast, increase contrast, high contrast adjusted, color shift, color change, desaturate, saturate, intense color, and black and white. Now these are all the presets, and you could choose any of those that you want to. However, you could just manually adjust these sliders to get exactly what you're looking for. So the very first thing I'll do is I'll drop the saturation down a bit on this one, and I'll go ahead and increase the contrast a little bit and increase the brightness a little bit like so, and maybe I'll drop the value a little bit like so, and maybe I'll introduce just a touch of smart blur just to kind of soften up some of that grainy color that you see in the background like so. Now I can also choose an edge effect, and you can see here that we have rectangular, circular, and jagged. So we'll just choose rectangular at first, and we can choose circular, and we can choose jagged. So if we wanted to have any kind of edges to our artwork, more of a vignette type of a look, we could choose that. However, I'm not going to use that at this particular moment in time. Now at the bottom you can see that we have reset underpainting. If we don't like what we have here, we can reset the underpainting. Now if you like the settings that you have, you can also choose to make a preset by clicking the Add button. You can see that we can apply the underpainting, and then over here you can see that we have a auto clone button. Well, what is the auto clone? Well, the auto clone is basically going to allow us to make a quick clone of this document so that we don't mess up whatever we're doing here. We can come back to it when we actually do the auto painting. So I'm going to say apply underpainting, then I'm going to say auto clone. And now we've got basically the same thing as a quick clone. You can see we've got the tracing paper, and as a matter of fact, if we go up to Window, we look in our clone source, you can see there it is. We've basically got a blank document with the tracing paper, and it's using the Tiger Ref as our clone source. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that out because we're not going to need that. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next lesson with auto painting.